Hi, everybody. I'm Louis Amestoy, the host of the Bako Motorsports Power Hour, brought to you by Budweiser, Assigned Factory, and Bakersfield, California. And we were just talking off camera. This is our 30th show, believe it or not, right, Griffith?
Yeah.
And you were happy with the fact that you've actually done a superior job hosting the show than I have.
Well, not a superior job. We just have more fun.
Do you guys do?
Well,
have more fun?
when King Louis is here, it's tough to get a word in edgewise.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. We picked up a few people on Facebook over the weekend.
Good.
That was good. So a lot going on at Kern County Raceway Park over the weekend. A lot going on at Famoso with the California Hot Rod Reunion. Blake Bowser is not here yet. He is tardy.
He's still
He's taking a
or
nap.
something.
Taking a
or
nap.
he's
We'll
taking
mark
a
him
nap.
down. So
Mark
as
tardy.
I tell you what, those Sunday races, man, that's a long day. So
It's a long weekend.
but my esteemed panel here is Stephen Blakesley with the hat, the Sitco Lubricants
Yeah, that's
hat.
right.
You got a hat
Gotta
race
represent.
this weekend, and then Scott Schweitzer, whose season was technically over, and then we've got the truck apocalypse thing coming up on Halloween, and then to my
Coming up
surprise,
this weekend.
there's this thing on Thanksgiving. There will not
Weekend.
be wheat planted before that. You're going to do a little show. So
Delayed my plans.
that's good though.
It
That's good.
is. It's always good.
That's going to be an exciting weekend. So hopefully the weather will be fantastic. I think it will be. I'm confident.
So. It doesn't rain in California.
It doesn't
anymore.
rain anymore.
Not anymore.
There's no more
That
fog.
quit a couple years ago.
There's no more rain. It's nothing going on. So Mike Griffith over there. Mike, we had Steve Lynch covering Kern County Raceway Park and some big news, big stuff out there. We'll get to that here in Stephen Blakesley's segment. And you were out at the Hot Rod Reunion. We have your thoughts on that. We'll share with Blake Bowser when he gets in here from Famoso. But the chase, Brad Keselowski saved
Go
himself,
figure.
right? Yeah.
Go figure.
And can you explain to all of us? I know Steve wants to jump in here and tell us a little bit about what happened, but I want to hear you say first what happened in this deal.
That would be good because I was otherwise occupied on Sunday and watched it on live scoring at bits and pieces on NASCAR.com. And I have the tape. I recorded it, but haven't even watched it. So I can tell you, 2-car won.
Yeah.
And, that's good because that guy's is a lot of controversy lately, and NASCAR's got to be loving the 2-car winning.
All I could say was that the beat writers who were covering it on Twitter were just it looked like it was some jaw dropping that was going on.
Well, he almost. I did see some highlights, and he came up probably a couple inches from not finishing the race. One of those Talladega deals. Somebody got sideways, got into his right front, but didn't cause enough damage to affect him, and he went from probably 2 inches from crashing to winning the race. So.
What are your thoughts on this, Steven?
Well, do you remember Brad Keselowski's first career win was in the 09 car many years ago, and he got into it with Carl Edwards, and Edwards hit the fence and stuff. So if I was a betting man and if I was, playing fantasy NASCAR or something, I think Brad was the guy I would have picked for this one.
Right.
So perfect for him that he needed a win to get in the chase, and it happened to be at a plate track where he's been really good. And, it was the typical stuff. They were 4 wide behind him and bouncing off the walls, and it was a green-white checkered like usual. All kind of the usual things, but Brad was out front, and he loves to do that American flag thing. Too.
And I think if NASCAR had its druthers, and they'll never admit it, but the two guys they would have wanted to win that race if they had to was either Earnhardt Jr. or BK because the fans love Earnhardt and the controversy that comes with the 2-car.
But here's the bottom line though, and Earnhardt Jr.'s out, Casey Kane is out, Jimmy Johnson's out, Kyle Busch is out. I mean, those are some of your biggest names in the sport. What are your? I mean, can they survive without Dale Earnhardt Jr.? I mean,
Well, I think seeing Dale Earnhardt Jr. get out of the deal is a tough loss. But personally, I'm glad to see Jimmy Johnson out because we need some new blood as champions in there. And as much as I hate the chase format, it's becoming interesting to me. I will admit, I'm starting to pay attention to it because of the excitement that it's building. And I personally was in Las Vegas this weekend, and I walked up to the sports book and because I wanted to bet the race, and I was going to bet Keselowski because I knew that kid's driven, knew that he had to win or do good to be out, and sure enough, the guy did it. So great win for him, and it'll be interesting now.
And the guy that's out and wasn't talking after the race, and I don't think there's any division. I mean, this is split down the middle. You either like this guy or you hate this guy. No in between. Kyle Busch, and he's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he walked away. He didn't have anything to say to anybody, too.
That's Kyle Busch, though.
That's how he operates, right?
That's Kyle's.
All right, so the question, though, is, and we had a thing today in the paper from US Today from Jeff Gluck saying that, Harvick might be the guy to beat in this whole thing. Ultimately, he's been running consistently the fastest, and he's right there in second in the points. It's got to get a win, though. So what do you guys think? Who do you guys think is going to win this thing?
Yeah, Harvick and Gordon, to me, are still the two, and they've been the two for a while, but now you got Keselowski and Logano still. I got to put an asterisk, just on a side note, on both Ryan Newman and Denny Hamlin. First of all, Ryan Newman failed post-race inspection, and they decided no penalties for him. So, again, they're kind of making it up as they go. Right?
Welcome to NASCAR.
And then Denny Hamlin, don't forget, missed a race this year
Yeah.
and got in the chase anyway because they gave him a medical exception. So if you're a fan of a Kyle Busch or a Jimmy Johnson or something, you can definitely kind of begrudge the Newman and Hamlin. I don't know that they necessarily deserve to be in that final 8. So for me, I think it's going to be either the Penske's or a Gordon Harvick deal.
The interesting thing here, and I like your point, Scott, a lot, is that I'm fairly a casual NASCAR fan. I really had to really watch it this year, and the more that I get involved and start to understand the chase, the more I kind of get it. I kind of get excited about it. And it's like, okay, I'm starting to see how this thing's kind of shaping up, and as I was building the show last night, I was thinking, you know what, Harvick's got a good chance at this thing. I don't know. I mean, Griff, you've paid attention to this for years. I mean, is it starting to grow on you a little bit or not?
It's different. I mean, let's face it. There's been many a year come this time the championship's been locked up. I can't tell you how many times Johnson's been 200 points ahead with 4 races ago or 100 points. Back in the days, you weren't going to make up that point spread. And there's most of the time the championship's locked up well before the last 2-3 races of the season.
Yeah.
So this year it's going to keep that alive. I don't know if it's equating to better TV numbers, better grandstand numbers. Certainly among those people in NASCAR, the people who watch it, people who talk about it, it's generating a lot of excitement.
It sure seems to be holding its own against, I haven't looked at the ratings, but sure seems to be holding its own against, football this year. And obviously they're smart running on a Saturday, against college football. But, it's going to be interesting to see how this thing shapes up here. Of course, Harvick, he finished 9th at Talladega. He's second in the chase right now. And Casey Mears, 10th, man. It's his second best finish of the season. He was strong in testing. He was strong in qualifying. He was in the chase the whole time as far as the in this race. So by far, I mean, I can't tell you how many weeks in a row I was going to look it up, and I kind of got distracted by other stuff, mainly the Condors. But he's consistently been like 29, 28, 26, 30th, but 10th place. That's solid. That's probably
a solid run.
Honestly, that's probably his best finish of the season because I think the previous best was either a second or it was a top 5, I believe. But there was a lot of accidents in that particular race. I think it was 4th of July weekend, I think, wasn't it?
It might have been another restrictor plate. That's where if you stay out of trouble and you have a good car and a savvy driver, you can come away with a good finish. And there's been some drivers win races that those restrictor plate races.
Right, and here's the schedule for NASCAR for the rest of the way through as we finish up the season this weekend at the Goody's Headache Relief Shot 500 in Ridgeway, Virginia. All right, Griffith, you got some other news to report, right?
Just we'd like to follow the kids here and a couple of local drivers. They race everywhere, but Anthony Balcazar ended up being the senior mini dwarf champion at San Maria, which didn't run this last week. They've got some problems there. I think there's going to be a new stewardship or a new promoter at that racetrack, and Kersey Young is the junior mini dwarf champion, and she didn't get to run there either because the track's kind of shut down right now.
I did see Kersey's car out at the Famoso or the Hot Rod Reunion event at the Chewy's on Roadhouse Grill on Roseville Highway the other night, so it was good to see their car, and all the Kern County Raceway people are out there on Thursday night.
And I think like Scott and Steve both said, you're going to look at these kids, and we're going to be watching and see where they are 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 years if they keep progressing, where they're going to go with their racing careers. So that'll be interesting.
Well, that's the thing I think I love most about this show is that we've been able to really highlight some good young people, and if you look at the kids that we've been talking about here, the racing Flipper Vernon, Ethan Dotson. There's so, I'm not even, and then this Perkins kid.
He won another S2 race.
Yeah, he won again at Irwindale. It's his 4th in a row, and Buddy Shepard. had the car to beat at Madera. It was a $10,000 to win race, and he was leading it about 75 laps in and had a distributor problem. So, and I had a friend announcing that race, and he said, absolutely, Buddy was the fastest car there. So, I mean, these kids are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that's track he's only run twice. So,
right. Hey, speaking of one quick question and we'll get to, I said you're having go-karts again, right? Coming up soon?
November 9th. Sunday, November 9th.
All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more here. Stephen Blake's going to stick around with us for a little bit and talk about what's coming up this weekend. It's the fall shootout at Kern County Raceway Park. We got a lot to talk about here. We'll get to that in a minute.